हम लोगों ने जनरल माइक्रोबायोलॉजी में दी कल्चर मीडिया, कॉट्स पोस्टुलेट एंड जनरल बैक्टीरियोलॉजी के बारे में पढ़ा. अब जनरल बैक्टीरियोलॉजी को ही आगे कंटिन्यू करते हुए हम लोग लैब डायग्नोसिस ऑफ बैक्टीरियल सेल इन्फेक्शन के बारे में पढ़ेंगे. So इससे पहले I have been making videos by making notes and explaining them to you, but ये lab diagnosis वाला part I'm going to explain it through the PDF of Apurva Sastry book of microbiology. I have been changing my style a bit here, so just let me know if you are comfortable with this PDF, or do you prefer the other version, the note version, which I have made other videos through. और जैसे भी आप लोगों को comfortable लगेगा, and जो ज़्यादा अच्छा और ज़्यादा अच्छे से समझ आने वाला लगेगा, I'll continue with that only. So let's start with the introduction part. Introduction part में हम लोग देखेंगे कि क्या क्या पर्पस है बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन के लैब डायग्नोसिस का. फर्स्ट इज आइडेंटिफिकेशन. ऑब्वियसली बैक्टीरिया और कॉजेटिव बैक्टीरियल एजेंट को आइडेंटिफाई करना इज द मेन पर्पस हियर. सेकेंड इज ट्रीटमेंट. जैसे ही हम लोगों को बैक्टीरियल एजेंट के बारे में पता चलेगा, वी कैन प्रोवाइड देम विद एक्यूरेट एंटी माइक्रोबियल थेरेपी. सर्वेलेंस पर्पस, ताकि वो उस डिजीज़ का कितना बर्डन है कम्युनिटी में और क्या प्रेवलेंस है, इंसिडेंस ऑफ इन्फेक्शन, ये सब पता करने के लिए भी वी नीड लैब डायग्नोसिस. आउटब्रेक like diphtheria outbreak in community, methicillin resistant SRS outbreak in hospitals, ये सब पता करने के लिए भी lab diagnosis is very important. The other one is to start post exposure prophylaxis. It is useful in infectious condition जैसे कि anthrax, plague. Proper infection and control measure initiate करने के लिए भी we need lab diagnosis. So these are the main purpose: identification, treatment, surveillance purpose. For outbreak investigation, start post exposure prophylaxis and initiate appropriate infection control measure. Now you don't really have to remember them in line, but this is just for the understanding part. Now lab diagnosis. किसी भी बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन के लैब डायग्नोसिस में क्या क्या स्टेप एंड हाउ डू वी प्रोसीड इन दिस. तो द फर्स्ट एंड बेसिक थिंग इज स्पेसिमेन कलेक्शन. स्पेसिमेन कलेक्शन डिपेंड करता है इन्फेक्शन पे. इफ यू आर डीलिंग विद अ पेशेंट हु इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम UTI, urinary tract infection, then you must know that what is the ideal specimen for this UTI. It is urine, right? UTI के पेशेंट में भी the first sample which we are collecting won't be CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, no, right? So specimen collect करना and सही specimen collect करना, सही तरह से specimen collect करना is one of the important thing here. The second is direct detection. Direct detection में first we'll do microscopy. Microscopy में we can stain the bacteria using gram staining. The different stains are there: acid fast staining, Albert stain, or histopathological staining like H&E, dark ground phase, contrast, fluorescence microscopy. This thing can be done. Other than that, antigen detection from clinical specimen can also be done, or molecular diagnosis for detecting the bacterial DNA or RNA from clinical specimen. The third is culture. We can also grow bacteria in culture media using different culture methods to study the colony morphology, smear, and do the motility testing. Fourth is identification. Biochemical identification, automated identification. ये दो methods है जिससे कि हम लोग identify कर सकते हैं biochemical. We'll read about this further in this chapter only, but let me tell you in brief that biochemical identification में you're gonna see different type of tests like oxidase test, citrate test, urease test, indole test, जो कि हम लोगों को बैक्टीरिया को आइडेंटिफाई करने में हेल्प करता है. Fifth is antimicrobial susceptibility testing, serology where we study the blood, antibody and antigens present in the blood. The molecular method like PCR, very known or very famous PCR. Then there are the typing methods. So these are the 8 important lab diagnosis which we can do to rule out a bacterial infection. Now, starting with the specimen collection, these are not important from like your theory paper point of view, but these things you should know to like go in the lab. If you go in the lab, perform the procedures, you're gonna do gram staining and also specimen collection and all this part are important for that part. So I'll just go in brief. The general principle which should be followed while collecting the specimen is that you should know the correct this specimen you are collecting, the handling and collection, these all should be proper and in the standard manner. Now, before antibiotic starts, we have to collect the specimen and culture. It should be done before any antimicrobial agents are started. Contamination and indigenous flora, they should be avoided. The flora which are present indigenously, like already in our body or they are commensal, they should be avoided. Swabs are though convenient, but they are considered inferior to tissue aspirate and body fluid. So swabs are like nasopharyngeal swab जो you must have seen कोविड में हमारा जो टेस्ट किया जाता था वो नेजल स्वैब के थ्रू किया जाता था. दो स्वैब्स दो दे आर कन्वीनियंट क्योंकि इसमें कोई इन्वेजन नहीं हो रहा है, बट अदर प्रोसीजर्स जैसे कि टिश्यू लेना, बायोप्सी, एस्पायरेट, बॉडी फ्लूइड लेना, ये सब ज़्यादा सुपीरियर है एज कम्पेयर टू स्वैब. कंटेनर्स, जो कंटेनर में हम लोग कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं स्पेसिमेन, दे शुड बी स्टेराइल, टाइटली सील्ड, लीक प्रूफ, वाइड ओपन एंड स्क्रू capped containers. Screw capped container are those like you must have seen ऐसे containers जिनको हम लोग round like घुमा के उनको open करते हैं. Those are screw capped containers. Labeling of the specimen, इसको बहुत अच्छे तरीके से करना होता है ताकि you identify the patient easily कि किसका specimen है ये, इसमें बाद में confusion ना हो. So the name, age, gender, treating physician, diagnosis, antibiotic history, type of specimen, desired investigation name, these all should be appropriately labeled. Resection, the specimen which are grossly contaminated or compromised or improperly labeled, they may be rejected. क्योंकि ये सारे सैंपल्स को इनका इन्वेस्टिगेशन और डायग्नोसिस करने के बाद भी इट वोंट बी ऑफ एनी हेल्प, सो दे आर डायरेक्टली रिजेक्टेड. इफ देयर इज एनारोबिक कल्चर, it is requested to keep them in a proper anaerobic environment, like collection of the they are collected in containers which maintain proper anaerobic environment. Now here, moving forward, the specimen should not be sent in container which contain formalin for microbiological analysis, because for formalin it can interfere with the test we are going to perform. Here in this table we can see the types of infection and various specimens which are collected. We will know about them one by one. Like these are just basic. Diarrheal disease में we collect stool, meningitis में you'll collect CSF, skin soft tissue infection में you'll collect pus, exudate, upper respiratory tract में you'll collect throat swab and membrane over the tonsil and those things. So these are just basic to know it only. Now transport, about the transport, specimen जो है वो lab proper time पे and as soon as possible collection के बाद पहुँच जाना चाहिए. There should not be much delay or the delay which is required. Any unnecessary delay should be avoided in transportation. Required appropriate media, transport media का यूज़ करके हम लोग स्पेसिमेन को ट्रांसपोर्ट करते हैं. For the most of the specimen, transport time should not exceed 2 hours, but there are some exceptions. For the specimen which require an immediate transport less than 15 minutes, such as CSF, body fluid, ocular specimen, this should be done in less than 15 minutes. Then urine mixed stream specimen, they are added with preservative. The preservative used here is boric acid. Please remember this. It can be asked in MCQs. Boric acid is the preservative which is used in urine sample. It is acceptable up to 24 hours, otherwise it should be transported within 2 hours. Stool sample, it should be transported within 1 hour, but with transport media like carry blade medium, it can be transported up to 24 hours. Rectal swab, 24 hours is acceptable. Anaerobic culture should be put into Robertson cooked meat broth, RCMB, Robertson cooked meat broth, या फिर any specialized anaerobic transport system immediately. You cannot wait for the anaerobic culture. So here we got to know कि 15 minutes के अंदर we have to transport the specimen, which are CSF, body fluid, ocular specimen, tissue specimen, bone specimen, suprapubic aspirate. Urine को normally it is acceptable up to 24. Normally urine is acceptable up to 2 hours, but if you are adding preservative like boric acid in it, it is acceptable up to 24 hours. For stool, normal within 1 hour, but the transport media like carry blade media up to 24 hours is acceptable. Rectal swab, 24 hour. Anaerobic cultures like they are put into RCMB, they should be transported immediately. So now coming to the specimen storage before processing. Most of these specimen को हम लोग रूम टेम्परेचर पे स्टोर कर सकते हैं up to 24 आवर, बट देयर आर सम एक्सेप्शंस लाइक ब्लड कल्चर जिसको कि 37 डिग्री सेल्सियस पे इंक्यूबेट करना पड़ता है इमीडिएटली अपन रेसिपिएंट. स्टेराइल बॉडी फ्लूइड, बोन, विट्रस ह्यूमर, सुप्राप्यूबिक एस्पिरेट को इमीडिएटली प्लेट करते हैं इंक्यूबेटेड एट 37 डिग्री सेल्सियस. Corneal scraping, it should be immediately planted at bedside on the blood agar and chocolate agar. Stool culture को हम लोग 72 डिग्री सेल्सियस 72 आवर्स तक 4 डिग्री सेल्सियस पर रख सकते हैं. यूरिन, लोअर रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक्ट स्पेसिमेन, गैस्ट्रिक बायोप्सी फॉर हेलिकोबैक्टर पाइलोरी को हम लोग 24 आवर तक रख सकते हैं 4 डिग्री सेल्सियस. Now coming to the important part, the direct detection. डायरेक्ट डिटेक्शन ऑफ बैक्टीरिया में हम लोग स्टेनिंग टेक्निक्स देखेंगे. दिस टेक्निक्स यू आर एक्चुअली गोइंग टू परफॉर्म इन योर माइक्रोबायोलॉजी लैब. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट MBA second year students. They are going to perform it in their lab. It's gonna come again and again in your exams, in practical exams, and of course your Viva teachers are going to ask questions related to this. So please pay attention to this part. Now, direct detection of bacteria in the clinical specimen plays a very important role in early institution of antimicrobial therapy. What does it include? It includes staining technique and other method of detection of antigen or nucleic acid in the clinical specimen. Starting with staining technique, the structural detail of bacteria, it cannot be seen under a microscope due to lack of contrast. It is necessary to use a staining method to produce color and a contrast ताकि हम लोग बैक्टीरिया को अच्छे से विजुअलाइज कर पाए. नाउ स्टेन करने से पहले हम लोगों को स्मेयर को फिक्स करना होता है ताकि वो डिस्प्लेस ना हो जाए ड्यूरिंग द स्टेनिंग प्रोसीजर. फिक्सेशन प्रोटेक्ट करता है इंटरनल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ सेल को एक फिक्स पोजीशन में बाय 2 मेथड्स. I mean, we can do fixation by 2 methods, heat fixation and methanol fixation. Heat fixation में हम लोग flame के ऊपर, like suppose this is the flame, this is a Bunsen burner, slide को gently flame heating करते हैं. Suppose this is the slide, gently इसको fast स्लाइड टू साइड मूवमेंट करके हम लोग इसको फिक्स कर सकते हैं. and this slide they are air dried films. Remember that the air dried film they which are used for bacterial smear इनको gently flame heating कर सकते हैं. So this is the first method of fixation. फ्लेम के ऊपर gently slide को roll करना और like move करना will heat fix it. The other method is methanol fixation जो कि हम लोग blood smear के लिए करते हैं. कॉमन स्टेनिंग टेक्निक्स जो कि यूज़ होता है डायग्नोस्टिक बैक्टीरियोलॉजी में. फर्स्ट टाइप ऑफ स्टेन इज सिंपल स्टेन. इसमें हम लोग बेसिक डाई जैसे कि मिथाइलिन ब्लू या फिर बेसिक फिशिंग ऐसे सिंपल डाइज का यूज़ करते हैं. ये कलर कॉन्ट्रास्ट प्रोवाइड करता है बट सेम कलर प्रोवाइड करता है टू ऑल द बैक्टीरियाज इन अ स्मेयर. एक स्मेयर में जितने भी बैक्टीरियाज होंगे दे गोना एक्वायर सेम color. Doesn't matter if the bacteria is like of different species or anything, they all gonna acquire same color, जिसके कारण ये कोई भी differentiating feature नहीं देता. The second method of staining is negative staining. यहाँ पे a drop of bacterial suspension को हम लोग डाई के साथ मिक्स करते हैं. Some of the example of these dyes are India ink और निग्रोसिन डाई. ये डाई बैकग्राउंड को ब्लैक स्टेन करता है जबकि बैक्टीरियल और ईस्ट कैप्सूल ये स्टेन नहीं होते. सो द बैकग्राउंड हियर इज स्टेन ब्लैक बट जो बैक्टीरिया और ईस्ट कैप्सूल है दे स्टैंड आउट इन कॉन्ट्रास्ट. ये मेथड ऑफ नेगेटिव स्टेनिंग बहुत यूजफुल होता है फॉर स्टेनिंग ऑफ बैक्टीरियल और ईस्ट कैप्सूल जो कि हम लोग सिंपल स्टेनिंग में नहीं देखते. द थर्ड मेथड इज इम्प्रेग्नेशन मेथड जहाँ पे बैक्टीरियल सेल और स्ट्रक्चर जो कि बहुत थिन होते हैं और उनको हम लोग लाइट माइक्रोस्कोप में नहीं देख पाते हैं, ऐसे स्ट्रक्चर्स को इम्प्रेग्नेट करके विद सिल्वर सॉल्ट ऑफ हम लोग थिकन करते हैं. सो सिल्वर सॉल्ट को यूज करके वी इम्प्रेग्नेट दोस थिन what you call structures, we thicken them and make them visible to the surface. Example, for demonstration of bacterial flagella and spirochetes we use this impregnation method. And हम लोग यहाँ पे silver salt use कर रहे हैं. Just remember this also. The fourth method is the differential staining. Differential staining में दो स्टेन यूज होता है एंड ये दो स्टेन डिफरेंट कलर इम्पार्ट करता है टू डिफरेंट बैक्टीरिया. तो एज द नेम सजेस्ट हम लोग ये स्टेन के बेसिस पे डिफरेंट बैक्टीरियाज को डिस्टिंग्विश कर सकते हैं या फिर और not just bacteria but we can also separate the bacterial structures. The most common stain जो employ होता है is gram stain, acid fast stain and Albert stain. Among this gram staining is something you're gonna do again and again. gram staining को यूज करके हम लोग बैक्टीरिया को ग्राम पॉजिटिव एंड ग्राम नेगेटिव ग्रुप में डिवाइड करते हैं. नाउ ऑल्सो एसिड फास्ट स्टेनिंग इज इम्पॉर्टेंट. एसिड फास्ट से हम लोग बैक्टीरियाज को एसिड फास्ट एंड नॉन एसिड फास्ट ग्रुप में डिवाइड करते हैं. नाउ लेट्स लुक इनटू ग्राम स्टेनिंग. ग्राम स्टेनिंग वाज डेवलप्ड बाय हैंस एंड क्रिश्चियन ग्राम more than 130 years back. Can you imagine that it has been such an old procedure? But even in presence of newer diagnostic facilities, अभी भी हम लोग ग्राम स्टेनिंग को widely use करते हैं in diagnostic bacteriology. So what is the procedure? इधर एक डायग्राम दिया हुआ है जिससे हम लोग एक्सप्लेन करेंगे. So first I'll explain you how to do it in a lab. Okay, not in a book system but in a actual lab setup. So first let's get familiar with some of the things we're gonna use. This is a slide जिसमें हम लोग बैक्टीरिया को फिक्स करने वाले हैं. Then you'll need a Bunsen burner. एक Bunsen burner जिसमें बर्निंग Bunsen burner होना चाहिए. देन इसके अलावा यू गोना नीड अ इनोकुलेटिंग लूप. Inoculating loop कुछ ऐसा दिखता है and then it will have a handle. This is a inoculating loop. ये loop की जगह एक inoculating wire भी होता है जहाँ पे this loop is not present there but it is just a straight wire like this. So these are the things which we're gonna need. Apart from this, you're gonna need gram stain के लिए the stain, crystal violet stain, mordant, acetone and counter stain. ये सारे चीज़ will be provided in the lab. So first take a slide. इसको हम लोग clean slide लेना है. Then just हीट इट ओवर द बंसन बर्नर. बंसन बर्नर के फ्लेम में इसको कुछ देर के लिए ऊपर से मूव करके ये स्लाइड को हम लोग स्टेरिलाइज करते हैं. याद रहे कि डू नॉट ब्रिंग दिस स्लाइड टू क्लोज एंड जस्ट मूव इट फास्टली फॉर फ्यू सेकेंड्स ओवर द फ्लेम. ये करने के बाद हमारा स्लाइड स्टेरिलाइज हो गया है. नाउ द सेकेंड थिंग यू हैव टू स्टेरिलाइज इज द इनोकुलेटिंग लूप. इनोकुलेटिंग लूप को स्टेरिलाइज करने का तरीका होता है that you will keep the inoculating loop vertical. ये लूप को वर्टिकल रखेंगे एंड फ्लेम के बीच में इसको लाइक लेकर आते हैं एंड देन दिस वे यू विल हीट द लूप टिल इट टर्न्स रेड. रेड हॉट होने तक हम लोग इसको स्टेरिलाइज करते हैं. एक बार ये स्टेरिलाइज हो गया, नाउ व्हाट वी हैव टू डू इज टेक normal saline in the loop. नॉर्मल saline किसी जिस भी कंटेनर में रखा है हम लोग इनोकुलेटिंग लूप के हेल्प से नॉर्मल saline लेंगे. दिस इज द इनोकुलेटिंग लूप एंड इसको आई शुड एक्सप्लेन हियर. स्लाइड के ऊपर ड्रॉप बाय ड्रॉप हम लोग नॉर्मल saline डालेंगे. ये हो गया. इसके बाद अगेन जस्ट हीट फिक्स इट और एयर ड्राई इट. फिर से इसको बंसन बर्नर के ऊपर हीट फिक्स करेंगे. नाउ आफ्टर दिस you'll again sterilize this inoculating loop and जो कल्चर है हमारा कल्चर मीडिया जिसमें कि बैक्टीरिया है उससे हम लोग एक सेपरेट कॉलोनी ऑफ बैक्टीरिया को इनोकुलेट करेंगे. लाइक don't take the colony of bacteria जो कि राउंडेड है लाइक ग्रुप में है और एक कॉलोनी में है. हमें वैसे को नहीं लेना है बट एक सेपरेट कॉलोनी को जस्ट टच करना है. दिस इज योर इनोकुलेटिंग लूप. ये इनोकुलेटिंग लूप है. ये कॉलोनी ऑफ बैक्टीरिया है. जस्ट इसको टच करना है एंड यू आर डन. आफ्टर दैट इसको ला करके ये सेम स्लाइड में विल इनोकुलेट हियर एंड देन एयर ड्राइड. सो दिस वाज द प्रोसीजर ऑफ टेकिंग द बैक्टीरिया इन द स्लाइड. अब और दिस वाज द स्मीयर फॉर्मेशन. अब हमारा स्मीयर बन चुका है. नाउ स्मीयर बनाने के बाद जो स्पेसिमेन है उसको एयर ड्राई करते हैं एंड देन यू विल हीट फिक्स इट. ये जो स्लाइड है फिर से हम लोग इसको बंसन बर्नर के ऊपर मूव करके विल हीट फिक्स इट. हीट फिक्स करने के बाद हमारा जो फिक्सेशन प्रोसेस है वो खत्म हो गया. अब हम लोग ग्राम स्टेनिंग शुरू करेंगे. ग्राम स्टेनिंग में सबसे पहले प्राइमरी स्टेन यूज करते हैं. जो स्लाइड है उसके ऊपर यू विल ऐड प्राइमरी स्टेन फर्स्ट. प्राइमरी स्टेन में हमारा क्रिस्टल वॉयलेट आता है. ये क्रिस्टल वॉयलेट, let me use the color. So crystal violet, oh sorry. So crystal violet color जैसे थोड़ा सा डार्क होता है उसको हम लोग ऐड करेंगे. इसके बाद you'll wait for 1 minute. 1 मिनट वेट करने के बाद you'll wash or rinse this slide with water. Now the second step में हम लोग mordant ऐड करते हैं. Same में you'll add the mordant. Mordant के जैसा we are using gram iodine as a mordant here. Same procedure, ग्राम आयोडीन को हम लोग 1 मिनट तक लीव करेंगे एंड फिर से इस स्लाइड को वाटर से वॉश ऑफ कर देंगे. वाटर से वॉश ऑफ करने के बाद जो थर्ड स्टेप है इसमें हम लोग डीकलराइजर ऐड करेंगे. जस्ट टू रिमेंबर दैट डीकलराइजेशन इज द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट स्टेप हियर, क्योंकि अगर डीकलराइजेशन थोड़ा भी ज़्यादा या कम हो जाए तो आप बैक्टीरिया को अच्छे से डिफ्रेंशिएट नहीं कर पाओगे ग्राम पॉजिटिव और ग्राम नेगेटिव के बीच में. अगर एसीटोन यूज़ हो रहा है तो वी विल कीप इट फॉर 2 to 3 seconds, and if we are using 95% of ethyl alcohol then keep it for 20 to 30 seconds. After that water rinse it immediately. फोर्थ स्टेप में काउंटर स्टेन ऐड करते हैं जो कि डाइल्यूट कार्बोल्फिशिन या सेफ्रोनिन होता है. कीप इट फॉर 30 seconds and then water rinse it and blot it with the tissue paper. So this was all about the process of gram staining. स्मेयर बनाने के बाद प्राइमरी स्टेन यूज करेंगे जो कि क्रिस्टल वॉयलेट है. कीप इट फॉर 1 minute, वाटर रिंस इट. मॉडर्न जैसे वी यूज ग्राम्स iodine, keep it for 1 minute, water rinse it. Decolorization, most important step, acetone for 2 to 3 seconds, ethyl alcohol for 20 to 30 seconds, water rinse it immediately. Counter staining, dilute fission or saffronin, 30 seconds, water rinse and blot. This was the process. Now decolorization, as I told you that decolorization is the most crucial step of gram staining. Decolorizer is poured for more time. Even gram positive bacteria will lose the color. It is also known as over decolorization. और अगर इसको लेस टाइम के लिए pour करेंगे तो ग्राम नेगेटिव बैक्टीरिया कलर ही नहीं लूज करेगा and they will appear gram positive, which is under decolorization. So please be very specific with the time जिसके लिए आप डीकलराइजर पोर करते हो. Now what is the interpretation? ग्राम पॉजिटिव बैक्टीरिया रेजिस्ट करता है डीकलराइजेशन को एंड रिटेन करता है प्राइमरी स्टेन. प्राइमरी स्टेन जो कि वॉयलेट होता है, ये like we are using a violet stain, so gram positive bacteria will appear violet to you, whereas gram negative bacteria डीकलराइज हो जाता है और काउंटर स्टेन लेता है जो कि पिंक अपीयर करता है. सो वी गोना सी gram positive bacteria appears purple but gram negative bacteria appears pink. You have to remember this. Now that we are done with the procedure of gram staining, let's talk about the principle of gram staining. Though the exact mechanism is not understood, but kuch theories they are given or they are put forward to understand the staining procedure. Principle of gram staining. First is the pH theory. pH theory ये बोलता है कि gram positive bacteria के cytoplasm they are more acidic, इसीलिए वो बेसिक डाई जैसे कि क्रिस्टल वॉयलेट को ज़्यादा टाइम तक रिटेन करता है. आयोडीन जहाँ पे मॉडर्न जैसे सर्व करता है, ये प्राइमरी स्टेन के साथ कंबाइन करके डाई आयोडीन कॉम्प्लेक्स बना लेता है, जिसके कारण डाई सेल के अंदर लॉन्गर टाइम तक रिटेन करने में. दिस वाज द पीएच थ्योरी. द सेकेंड थ्योरी गिवन वाज सेल वॉल थ्योरी. सेल वॉल थ्योरी ये मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थ्योरी माना गया है. We know that gram positive bacteria के cell wall and gram negative bacteria के cell wall में there is difference, right? One of these difference is the peptidoglycan layer. The thickness of peptidoglycan layer is more in case of gram positive cell wall. ये 50 to 100 layers thick होता है and tight cross linkage present होता है gram positive cell wall में. But peptidoglycan itself स्टेन नहीं होता है, इंस्टेड ये एक्ट करता है एज अ परमिएबिलिटी बैरियर जो कि प्रिवेंट करता है लॉस ऑफ क्रिस्टल वॉल्यूम। सो पेप्टिडोग्लाइकन खुद स्टेन नहीं होकर के ये एक्चुअल में डाई को लूज होने से या फिर वो प्रिवेंट कर रहा है, डाई के परमिएबिलिटी में ये बैरियर जैसा कर रहा है। मोर सो अल्कोहल इज थॉट to shrink the pores of thick peptidoglycan, hence large diiodine complex they are not able to penetrate through this tightened peptidoglycan layer in gram positive bacteria। इसके अलावा हम लोग अल्कोहल यूज कर रहे हैं और ये अल्कोहल श्रिंक कर देता है पोर्स को थिक पेप्टिडोग्लाइकन के लेयर का, जो कि लार्ज डाइआयोडीन कॉम्प्लेक्स को पेनिट्रेट नहीं करने देता है इन केस ऑफ ग्राम पॉजिटिव बैक्टीरिया। वेयर एज ग्राम नेगेटिव बैक्टीरिया का सेल वॉल ये और ज़्यादा परमिएबल होता है टू द आउटफ्लो ऑफ क्रिस्टल वॉयलेट। इसके कारण जो हमारा डाई है ये इजिली सिप कर जाता है सेल वॉल के थ्रू। The main reason behind this is the thin peptidoglycan layer, and those peptidoglycan layer they are also not that tightly cross-linked. The other reason is the presence of lipopolysaccharide layer जो कि सेल वॉल में प्रेजेंट होता है ग्राम नेगेटिव बैक्टीरिया के। ये इजिली डिस्टर्ब हो जाता है बाय डीकलराइजर और फॉर्म कर देता है लार्ज पोर्स। ये लार्ज पोर्स अलाउ करता है इजिली आउटवर्ड मूवमेंट ऑफ डायोडीन कॉम्प्लेक्स विच कॉज द एस्केप ऑफ डायोडीन कॉम्प्लेक्स फ्रॉम द साइटोप्लाज्म। सो अल्टीमेटली हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि ग्राम नेगेटिव बैक्टीरिया डाई को स्टेन नहीं कर पा रहा है, डाइआयोडीन कॉम्प्लेक्स को सेल के अंदर नहीं रख पा रहा है, जिसके कारण दे गेट डीकलराइज्ड इजिली। बट ग्राम पॉजिटिव सेल वॉल ये रिटेन करता है डाई को और अल्टीमेटली हमें कलर दिखाता है। So there are also few minor modification done in this gram staining. Just remember a few name like Koploff, Pearson modification जहाँ पे primary stain और counter stain में methylene violet and basic fusion use करते हैं। Jensen method, there is use of absolute alcohol as decolorizer and neutral red को as a counter stain use करते हैं। ये यूजफुल होता है इन मेनिंजोकोकाई एंड गोनोकोकाई। ब्राउन एंड ब्रेन मॉडिफिकेशन is used for actinomycetes. Now let's look into the uses of gram staining. Gram staining, the first तो the very basic, ये ग्राम पॉजिटिव ग्राम नेगेटिव बैक्टीरिया को डिफरेंशिएट करने में हेल्प करता है, आइडेंटिफिकेशन पर्पस में हेल्प कर रहा है, हमारे बैक्टीरियल कल्चर में आइडिया दे रहा है टू कॉरस्पॉन्ड द बायोकेमिकल टेस्ट फॉर फर्दर आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ बैक्टीरिया। इसके अलावा हम लोगों को एम्पेरिकल ट्रीटमेंट, बैक्टीरिया के एंटीबायोटिक ट्रीटमेंट और एम्पेरिकल ट्रीटमेंट, कौन से ट्रीटमेंट स्टार्ट करना है उसका आइडिया मिल रहा है हमें थ्रू ग्राम स्टेनिंग। फास्टिडियस ऑर्गेनिज्म लाइक हेमोफाइलस जो कि टाइम टेकिंग है फॉर दे टेक longer time to grow in culture, gram stain help करता है in presumptive identification. So these were the 4 uses. The other like anaerobic organism जैसे कि Clostridium, ये routine culture में grow नहीं करते हैं. So these organism which are detected in gram stain but aerobic gram negative gives an preliminary clue to perform an anaerobic culture of the specimen. So we know that anaerobic organism ये aerobic culture में grow करेंगे नहीं, they are going to be negative। तो ये एक तरह से हम लोगों का आइडिया दे रहा है कि now you should grow this organism in a anaerobic culture. Yeast on the other hand ये भी ग्राम स्टेनिंग रिटेन करता है। Some of the yeast like Candida and Cryptococcus they appear gram positive. Quality of specimen, gram stain help करता है screening of quality of sputum specimen before processing of the culture. Presence of more pus cell and less epithelial cell ये indication है कि जो हमारा specimen है वो good quality है। So moving to the acid fast staining now. It was discovered by Paul Ehrlich and subsequently modified by Zeal and Nelson. So the staining is done to identify acid-fast organism such as Mycobacterium tuberculosis, H. pylori, H. influenza and others. So acid fastness is due to presence of mycolic acid in the cell wall. Remember, this is also a point where they can make MCQ from. Now this is the Zeal-Nelson method. Actually, we don't really need to know much in detail about it, but I'll just brief you here. That a smear measuring 2 to 3 centimeter in size, ये प्रिपेयर करते हैं हम लोग क्लीन ग्रीस फ्री स्क्रैच फ्री स्लाइड में. And we our sample here is sputum. Sputum में भी we take yellow purulent portion of the sputum. Smear ना तो ज़्यादा thick ना ज़्यादा thin होना चाहिए, and it should be placed over a printed matter. अगर इसको हम लोग किसी printed matter और like supposedly I place it over a newspaper जिसके ऊपर like news are written, तो through that slide you should be able to read the news. This is how like the consistency of smear should be. Smear preparation, it should be done near a flame, as 6 inches around the flame is considered sterile zone. Now coming to heat fixation, air dry करने के बाद for 15 to 30 minute heat fixation के लिए हम लोग pass करते हैं over the flame 3 to 5 times for 3 to 4 seconds. This is also important point. You can be asked about it in the vivas. So heat fixation के लिए 3 to 5 times flame के ऊपर से 3 to 4 second time 3 to 4 second के duration के लिए इसको move करते हैं slide को. This is a process of heat fixation. Coagulation of proteinaceous material in the sputum will facilitate the fixing of smear. Procedure: स्मीयर को पोर करते हैं स्ट्रॉन्ग कार्बल फिशन में 1% for 5 minutes. Then intermittent heating is done by flaming underneath of the slide until the vapor rises. Heating helps in better penetration of the stain. Then care must be taken to ensure that the smear does not dry out. Counteract drying, more solution of stain is added to the slide and slide is reheated. So स्मीयर को हम लोग पोर करते हैं स्ट्रॉन्ग कार्बल फिशन 1% में 5 मिनट्स के लिए. 5 मिनट के बाद इंटरमीडिएट हीटिंग करते हैं फ्लेम के अंदर जब तक वेपर राइज ना कर जाए. हीटिंग हेल्प करता है इन बेटर पेनिट्रेशन ऑफ स्टेन. और हीट करने के टाइम पे वी शुड रिमेंबर कि स्मीयर ड्राई आउट ना कर जाए, और उसको काउंटरएक्ट करने के लिए हम लोग ज़्यादा सॉल्यूशन ऑफ स्टेन ऐड करते हैं स्लाइड में और स्लाइड को रीहीट करते हैं. उसके बाद फिर अगेन यू विल रिंस द स्लाइड विद वाटर जब तक कि सारा कार्बल फिशन वॉश अवे ना हो जाए. नाउ स्मीयर अब रेड दिखना चाहिए. नाउ द सेकेंड स्टेप इज डीकलराइजेशन. ये करते हैं 25% सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड को स्लाइड के ऊपर पास करते हैं. दिस इज ऑल्सो अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. द डीकलराइजर यूज्ड इन Zeal-Nelson staining method or ZN staining is 25% sulfuric acid. Remember it? You like in vivas you could be asked this. So 25% sulfuric acid ऐड करने के बाद इसको 2 to 4 minutes तक we'll let it stand. स्लाइड को जेंटली रिंस करते हैं टैप वाटर से और फिर इसको ड्रेन ऑफ कर देते हैं. जब प्रॉपरली डीकलराइज स्लाइड है ये पिंक लाइट पिंक कलर अपीयर करता है. अगर स्लाइड अभी भी रेड है देन सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड को रीअप्लाई करते हैं फॉर 1 to 3 मिनट. अगेन रिंस इट जेंटली विद टैप वाटर. बैक ऑफ द स्लाइड को क्लीन करते हैं एंड विद अ स्वैब डिप्ड इन सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड. काउंटर स्टेनिंग में जो स्टेन यूज हो रहा है यहाँ पे इज 0.1% ऑफ मिथाइलिन ब्लू. इसको स्लाइड के ऊपर पोर करते हैं 30 सेकेंड के लिए छोड़ देते हैं एंड देन स्लाइड इज रिंस्ड अगेन with tap water and allow it to dry. Now you can examine this slide. Your smear is prepared. Examine it under the microscope first in 10x 40x and then you can see it under oil immersion field. Contaminated material को discard कर देना चाहिए या स्लाइड को in a jar which contains 5% phenol. 5% phenol it acts as a disinfectant, इसलिए contaminated material साइड को प्रोसीजर के बाद डिसइंफेक्ट कर देना चाहिए. नाउ इंटरप्रिटेशन में क्या होगा कि माइकोबैक्टीरियम ट्यूबरकुलोसिस जो है ये हम लोगों को लॉन्ग, स्लेंडर, स्ट्रेट और स्लाइटली कर्व्ड, बीडेड, रेड कलर्ड एसिड फास्ट बेसिलस दिखेगा. जो नॉन एसिड फास्ट बेसिलस है वो प्रेजेंट होता है स्मीयर में, बैकग्राउंड में. दे टेक अप द काउंटर स्टेन एंड दे अपीयर. So when you see it under the microscope, you'll see both red as well as blue organism like this. Supposedly this is your field in the microscope, you're gonna see both red and blue, straight or curved, long, beaded kind of organism. This beaded. So don't confuse, the red ones are the acid fast bacillus, जिसके एग्जाम्पल में माइकोबैक्टीरियम ट्यूबरकुलोसिस आता है, and the blue ones are non-acid fast. Clear? Now these are the modification. Now there is also something given about Albert stain, but we don't really need to know much about it. We'll move straight to culture identification. Culture identification में the topic is culture media. And culture media also I am not going to discuss here क्योंकि culture media पे एक पूरा एक separate lecture video बनाया हुआ है. It is on my channel. Go and watch it. Okay. So we're gonna take the other topic after this one, which culture method I explained it here. If you want a separate video on culture method again, just let me know in the comment section. We'll move to culture identification. Culture identification में हम लोग बहुत सारे बायोकेमिकल टेस्ट एंड ऑटोमेटेड आइडेंटिफिकेशन सिस्टम के बारे में जानेंगे. हाउ टू आइडेंटिफाई अ बैक्टीरिया और कल्चर. सो बायोकेमिकल आइडेंटिफिकेशन से स्टार्ट करते हुए कॉलोनी के टाइप पे, कॉलोनी मॉर्फोलॉजी के बेसिस पे, ग्राम स्टेनिंग के बेसिस पे जो हम लोग कल्चर स्मीयर में ऑब्जर्व करेंगे उसके बेसिस पे एप्रोप्रिएट केमिकल टेस्ट और बायोकेमिकल टेस्ट एम्प्लॉय करते हैं हम लोग फॉर द आइडेंटिफिकेशन पर्पस. इनिशियली द फर्स्ट टू टेस्ट which we do on all type of colony are catalase and oxidase test. So initially catalase oxidase test are done on all type of colonies grown on the medium. Now for gram negative bacilli, these are the tests which you will do only on the gram negative bacilli. It is abbreviated as ICUT. ICUT stands for indole, citrate test or citrate utilization test, urea hydrolysis test and triple sugar iron test. This is the ICUT test जो कि हम लोग gram negative bacteria पे परफॉर्म करते हैं. Now what about gram positive cocci? Gram positive cocci पे you will perform Coagulase test. Coagulase test is positive for Staphylococcus aureus. Remember, it is Staphylococcus aureus which is positive for Coagulase test. Then you can perform CAM for group B Streptococcus. There is bile esculin hydrolysis test. It's bile esculin hydrolysis test, heat tolerance test, inulin fermentation, bile solubility test. Then for antimicrobial susceptibility test, you can do Eptosin susceptibility test, which is to differentiate the pneumococcus from viridans streptococci. You can also do bacitracin susceptibility test, which is used to differentiate group A from group B streptococcus. Now some of the biochemical tests they are described here. Let's start with catalase test. Catalase test, when a colony of catalase producing bacteria is mixed with drop of hydrogen peroxide, that is 3% H2O2, placed on the slide, effervescence or bubbles they appear due to breakdown of H2O2 by catalase to produce oxygen. So I'll explain you the principle in simple term. ऐसा कोई भी बैक्टीरिया का कॉलोनी, you don't know now, okay, so this is a colony of bacteria इस कॉलोनी ऑफ बैक्टीरिया में हम लोग 3% H2O2 ऐड कर रहे हैं and supposedly you get bubbles. So this bubbles, presence of bubbles or effervescence, they tell you that जो bacteria है in this colony, it is catalase positive. Now why are these bubbles present here? क्योंकि जो bacteria is present in the colony, ये अगर catalase positive है, इसका मतलब they are catalase producing bacteria. catalase एक एंजाइम है जो कि H2O2 को ब्रेक डाउन करके H2O and वाटर में ऑक्सीजन एंड H2O में कन्वर्ट करता है एंड दिस ऑक्सीजन इज द रीजन बिहाइंड दिस बबल्स. सो अगर बैक्टीरिया कैटलेस पॉजिटिव है मतलब वो कैटलेस प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है, इसीलिए वो H2O2 और हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड से रिएक्ट करके ऑक्सीजन रिलीज करता है एंड दिस ऑक्सीजन forms the bubbles which help us in identification. Now this catalase test is primarily used to differentiate between Staphylococcus जो कि catalase positive है from Streptococcus which is negative. It is also positive for member of family Enterobacteriaceae, Vibrio-Neuraceae, Pseudomonadeaceae. Coming to I hope this is clear. Now let's move to oxidase test. It is used to detect the presence of cytochrome oxidase enzyme which catalyzes the oxidation of reduced cytochrome by atmospheric oxygen. Again जैसे कि catalase positive में catalase enzyme present था, oxidase positive bacteria में oxidase cytochrome oxidase enzyme present होगा. cytochrome oxidase enzyme ये रिड्यूस करता है साइटोक्रोम को बाय द एटमॉस्फेरिक ऑक्सीजन. I hope this is clear. So let me again tell you that bacteria इसमें साइटोक्रोम ऑक्सीडेज एंजाइम प्रेजेंट होगा. ये साइटोक्रोम ऑक्सीडेज ऑक्सीडाइज करता है साइटोक्रोम को विद द हेल्प ऑफ एटमॉस्फेरिक ऑक्सीजन. सो ये टेस्ट कैसे परफॉर्म करते हैं? जब भी एक फिल्टर पेपर स्ट्रिप या डिस्क ले रहे हैं जो कि ऑक्सीडेज में सोक्ड है, ऑक्सीडेज रिएजेंट में एक फिल्टर पेपर को सोक कर लेते हैं एंड इट इज स्मीयर्ड विद अ बैक्टीरियल कॉलोनी प्रोड्यूसिंग साइटोक्रोम ऑक्सीडेज एंजाइम. स्मीयर एरिया अगर डीप पर्पल टर्न कर रहा है इन 10 सेकेंड ड्यू टू ऑक्सीडेशन ऑफ डाई form a purple color compound known as indophenol blue, then this tells you that the bacteria is positive for oxidase. Simple. You are taking a filter paper, dipping or soaking it in oxidase reagent, smearing it with the bacterial colony, and if this bacterial colony is producing oxidase cytochrome enzyme, it will give you a deep purple color within 10 seconds and the reason behind this is for oxidation of the dye and formation of purple color compound that is indophenol blue. Now some of the examples here include Pseudomonas, Vibrio, Neisseria, Bacillus, Haemophilus. ये सारे organism they are oxidase positive. They give deep purple color. Just remember them: Pseudomonas, Vibrio, Neisseria. These three, and बाद में we can remember others. Now, oxidase negative test मतलब there is no change in color. ये include करता है Enterobacteriaceae and Acinetobacter. Here is the diagram of catalase positive. I told you there will be formation of bubbles and all. This is catalase positive, and there is no reaction. Then it is catalase negative. Here this is the oxidase filter paper dipped in oxidase. See, showing deep purple color, it is positive, and the negative one is like there is no change in color. Now moving to indole test. Indole test ये डिटेक्ट करता है ability of bacteria to produce enzyme tryptophanase. ट्रिप्टोफेनेज एक एंजाइम है जो कि अमीनो एसिड ट्रिप्टोफेन को ब्रेक डाउन करता है इनटू इंडोल. अगर कोई बैक्टीरिया या बैक्टीरियल कॉलोनी ट्रिप्टोफेनेज एंजाइम प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है तो ये एमिनो एसिड ट्रिप्टोफेन को ब्रेक डाउन करके इंडोल में कन्वर्ट कर देगा. नाउ इफ यू आर सीइंग अ कलर चेंज, ये इंडोल कंपाउंड, इसका कलर चेरी रेड कलर होता है. अगर you are seeing this cherry red coloring, it means the bacteria is giving you positive test. हम लोग यहाँ पे evox reagent यूज करते हैं. Remember this can also be asked in MCQs. This evox reagent ये ऐड करते हैं, ओवरनाइट इंक्यूबेट करते हैं इन अ ब्रोथ ऑफ बैक्टीरियल कॉलोनी, और अगर ये कॉम्प्लेक्स प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है इंडोल के साथ तो फिर ये प्रोड्यूस करेगा रेड कलर्ड, cherry red colored ring near the surface of medium. You can see here, you can see a cherry red colored ring here. It is positive for indole test. Some of the examples are given here. For positive indole test, the bacteria are E. coli, Proteus vulgaris, Vibrio cholerae. Whereas negative is Klebsiella, Proteus mirabilis, Pseudomonas, Salmonella. Coming to citrate utilization test, ये डिटेक्ट करता है एबिलिटी ऑफ फ्यू बैक्टीरिया टू यूटिलाइज सिट्रेट एज द सोल सोर्स ऑफ कार्बन फॉर देयर ग्रोथ. कुछ बैक्टीरियाज दे यूज सिट्रेट एज द सोल सोर्स ऑफ कार्बन फॉर देयर ग्रोथ with the production of alkaline metabolic products. This test is performed on Simon's citrate medium. Remember यहाँ पे हम लोग कोवैक्स reagent यूज करते थे in case of indole test, but in citrate utilization test we are using Simon's citrate medium. So citrate utilization में bacteria, citrate utilizing bacteria produce करता है growth and color change. Original green color यहाँ पे blue में change हो जाता है. If you see the change of color from original green to blue, it says that the bacteria is positive for citrate. It is positive for Klebsiella pneumoniae, Citrobacter, Enterobacter, and negative for E. coli and Shigella. Coming to urea hydrolysis test, the urea producing bacteria, urease producing bacteria, ये यूरिया को स्प्लिट अप करता है इन द मीडियम, प्रोड्यूस अमोनिया जो कि मीडियम को एल्कलाइन बना देता है. ये टेस्ट को हम लोग क्रिस्टेंसन यूरिया मीडियम में परफॉर्म करते हैं जो कि कंटेन करता है फिनॉल रेड इंडिकेटर. सो द इंडिकेटर यूज्ड हियर इज फिनॉल रेड. Please remember these points. It can also be asked in MCQs. फिनॉल रेड इंडिकेटर यूज कर रहे हैं. क्रिस्टेंसन यूरिया मीडियम इज यूज्ड हियर. ये ओरिजिनल रेड कलर से पिंक कलर में चेंज हो जाता है एल्कलाइन मीडियम में अगर बैक्टीरिया इज पॉजिटिव फॉर यूरिया हाइड्रोलाइसिस टेस्ट. दिस इज ड्यू टू production of urease which breaks down the urea into ammonia. Now it is positive for Klebsiella pneumoniae, Proteus, Helicobacter pylori, Brucella, but negative for E. coli, Shigella, Salmonella. Now coming to triple sugared iron or TSI agar test. It is very important medium employed widely for identification of gram negative bacteria. The TSI medium ये contain करता है 3 sugar, glucose, sucrose and lactose in the ratio of 1:10:10. So 1 glucose, 10 sucrose and 10 lactose is the ratio. Uninoculated TSI medium red होता है, has a slant and a bud. After inoculation, medium is incubated at 37 degrees Celsius for 18 to 24 hours. Now the normal TSI medium जो कि uninoculated form में है ये रेड कलर का होता है. It has a slant and a bud. I'll show you here. This is the uninoculated. As we can see, it is red in color and see the shape of this medium. This part is known as the slant and this part is the bud. Now let's continue. Interpretation. How will you interpret the result? So the TSI detect करता है 3 properties of bacteria. ये include करता है fermentation of sugar जो कि produce करेगा acid and gas, and production of H2S. So the three properties we are determining here is fermentation of sugar, production of fermentation of sugar will produce acid, second is or gas production, third is H2S production. Now acid production, if acid is produced, medium turns yellow. Remember, originally it was red. If there is acid production, it will turn yellow. According to it, the organism are grouped into non-fermenter, glucose only fermenter and more than 2 sugar fermenter. Non-fermenter किसी भी शुगर को ferment नहीं करता है, hence it remains the medium, it remains red. Produce करता है alkaline slant and alkaline blood, but which is indicated by K by K. So remember that originally the pH is alkaline. इसको हम लोग K by K से डिनोट करते हैं क्योंकि यहाँ पे कोई फर्मेंटेशन हो नहीं रहा है, कोई एसिड प्रोडक्शन नहीं हो रहा है, so it will remain alkaline only. We write it as K by K. Example is Pseudomonas and Acetobacter. जबकि ग्लूकोज ओनली फर्मेंटर ये सिर्फ ग्लूकोज को फर्मेंट करते हैं एंड दे प्रोड्यूस अ लिटिल एसिड ओनली एट द बड. सो बड पार्ट को हम लोग लास्ट वाले डिनोमिनेटर वाले के से इंडिकेट करते हैं. द फर्स्ट के इज फॉर द स्लैंट. सो क्योंकि बड में देयर इज एसिड, यू विल राइट ए फॉर द बड एंड के और अल्कलाइन फॉर द स्लैंट. It is seen in Salmonella and Shigella. More than 2 acid fermenter ये ग्लूकोज को भी फर्मेंट कर रहा है, लैक्टोज एज वेल एज सुक्रोज को भी कर रहा है एंड ये लार्ज अमाउंट में एसिड प्रोड्यूस करता है. सो द मीडियम both slant and bud they change to yellow, giving rise to acidic slant, acidic bud, denoted as A by A. Example is E. coli, Klebsiella. I hope you are clear about it. Let's see here. This is the first one, A by A, जहाँ पे slant and bud दोनों में acid production हो रहा है, hence A by A. K by A is bud is yellow, यहाँ पे bud में acid production हो रहा है, but the slant is still alkaline, so K by A. Here is same, but K by K जहाँ पे ना तो स्लैंट में ना ही बट में एसिड प्रोडक्शन हो रहा है, सो इट इज K by K. Now let's see about gas and H2S. Gas production. If gas is produced, medium is lifted up and broken with cracks, seen in E. coli and Klebsiella. Let's see here. This here is gas positive, right? So we can see जो medium जो अपर पोर्शन है मीडियम का, ये थोड़ा सा लिफ्टेड अप होता है एंड इट इज क्रैंक्ड अप. वेयरएज गैस नेगेटिव में ऐसा कुछ देखने के लिए नहीं मिलता है. नाउ अगर इज H2S प्रोडक्शन, अगर H2S प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है तो मीडियम का कलर ब्लैक में चेंज हो जाता है. एग्जाम्पल इज सैल्मोनेला टाइफी एंड प्रोटियस वल्गरिस. सी हियर you can see the medium is turned into black, so ये H2S positive होगा. तो जब भी किसी कल्चर को you are like doing this TSI test or TSI अगर test, you have to mention all these 3 properties and tell about it. अगर acid production हो रहा है in the slant, you'll write only slant, then you'll write A by K. बट ऐसा ये कोई केस होता नहीं है. ओनली बट देन इट विल बी K by A. इफ इट इज बोथ इन दिस बट एंड स्लैंट, देन इट विल बी A by A. एंड इफ इट इज both like nowhere, there is no acid production at all, it will be K by K. गैस प्रोडक्शन हो रहा है तो you'll write gas positive, and अगर ये ब्लैक कलर में चेंज हो जा रहा है, then it means there is H2S production. So you got this. So you'll write H2S positive. This table here, it will tell you about the various reactions, which you'll have to remember, but slowly one by one as we go on dealing with the bacteria. You can't really mug up here in this one table only. धीरे धीरे जैसे you'll learn about the bacteria, you'll learn about them. Now, the automated system of bacterial identification, you don't really have to know about them in detail. Just a gist that they serve several advantage क्योंकि ये automatic है, so obviously they will be faster giving result giving, wide range of test, wide range of organism with accuracy हम लोग perform कर सकते हैं, but it is difficult to identify anaerobes. Okay, different types of machine here are Multitop, matrix assisted laser desorption, ionization time of flight. Vitec MS is one of the example. Then Vitec 2, there is Phoenix, there is microscan walk away system. Now we'll go straight to AST or antimicrobial susceptibility test. So talking about AST or antimicrobial susceptibility test, it is one of the most important investigation which is carried out in microbiology lab. So the bacteria, they exhibit great strain variation in susceptibility to antimicrobial agents, or we can just say antibiotics. Therefore, AST, it plays a vital role to guide the clinician for tailoring the empirical antibiotic therapy to pathogen directed therapy. So as we know that bacteria, the genetic strain in bacteria, they are quite variable, and as they keep on growing, keep on mutating, they gain resistance to various antibiotics or antimicrobial agent. So AST or antimicrobial susceptibility testing, it is one of the important way through which we can know which bacteria is resistant to which antimicrobial agent, and it also helps in tailoring the empirical antibiotic therapy to the pathogen. Now AST is performed for pathogenic bacteria only, which are isolated from the specimen. Please remember this, which are isolated from the specimen, and they are not the commensal bacteria. The bacteria which are like commensal, or they are free living in our body and not pathogenic, उन सब के लिए we do not perform AST. Like E. coli, which is isolated from urine specimen, you can do AST of this one. But E. coli, which is isolated from stool, it is actually a commensal or a gut. It comes from the gut flora, this bacteria. So it is not a pathogenic bacteria. So we will not perform AST for this. Now classification of AST. It is classified into phenotypic and genotypic method. The phenotypic method, it is further grouped into disk diffusion method. The example of disk diffusion method is Kirby-Bure disk diffusion test. This is the most important one which you will be doing or seeing in your labs. So remember this one, Kirby-Bure disk diffusion test. Other is dilution test, which includes Broth dilution and agar dilution test. The third one is absalometer or E-test. The fourth one is automated AST, which include Vitex, Phoenix, Microscan, all this. This was the phenotypic method. And the second is genotypic method, like PCR detecting for the drug resistant gene. So in lab, we'll be doing most importantly this disk diffusion method, especially by Kirby-Bure disk diffusion test. And also this dilution test is done sometime, absalometer is done. We'll talk about disk diffusion method or Kirby-Bure disk diffusion test in detail now. It is the most widely used test, suitable for rapidly growing pathogenic bacteria, however not suitable for slow growing bacteria. So remember, it is suitable for fast or rapidly growing bacteria, not for slow growing bacteria. mostly performed from colonies and directly from the specimen. We perform it directly from the specimen or directly from the colony. Colony 1 is known as colony DD and the directly from the specimen are known as direct DD. What is the procedure? Antibiotic diffusion, they are impregnated onto a suitable medium which is lawn cultured with the test isolate. So the medium, it should be lawn cultured. Okay. And the antibiotic disc, they are available commercially or they can be prepared in house. Sterile filter paper discs of 6 mm diameter are impregnated with standard quantity of antibiotic solution. So supposedly this where do I show? So let me show you here. Suppose this is a petri dish. In this dish we do prepare a lawn culture of the medium, any suitable medium. Most importantly we use MHA, most commonly we use MHA here, but lawn culture like a plain culture is made, and there is sterile filter paper which are of 6 mm diameter. Remember this 6 mm diameter sterile filter paper, round shape. They are diluted with suitable antibiotic we want to test. So this antibiotic, and they are placed in this lawn culture like this, and you'll also have to name it afterwards so as to know which antibiotic we are using. I'll take you through the procedure here. So first, this was how we prepare antibiotic test. You take the petri dish, do a lawn culture of suitable medium, sterile filter paper, we take sterile filter paper and 6 mm diameter, and they are impregnated with standard quantity of antibiotic solution. Now the medium which we use is Mueller-Hilton agar. Remember this is also very important Viva as well as MCQ question. Mueller-Hilton agar, it is the standard medium used for AST. Now for certain fastidious organism like S. pyogen and S. pneumoniae, Mueller-Hilton blood agar is used. For pyogens and S. pneumoniae, we use Mueller-Hilton blood agar, which contain 5% of SIB blood. Now inoculum, it is prepared directly suspending the colony in the normal saline. We can directly suspend the colony in normal saline. First procedure, first step, or second, we can inoculate it with a suitable broth, incubating at 37 degrees Celsius for 2 hours. Now the turbidity of inoculum, it can be adjusted to 0.5 McFarland opacity standard, equivalent to approximately 1.5 into 10 to the power 8 CFU or colony forming unit per ml of bacteria. We don't really have to mark this up. Now the lawn culture, the broth is taken, inoculated onto the medium by spreading with sterile swab. Take a sterile swab and you will spread or inoculate the broth with that on the medium. This impregnation after MHA plate is dried for 3 to 5 minutes. The antibiotic disc, they are placed and gently pressed on the surface. I told you this is the MHA, and this antibiotic disc we will gently press it on the surface at least 24 mm center to center. This should be placed at least 24 mm center to center apart on the MHA plate. So the distance between two antibiotic discs here, let me show you nicely. Supposedly this is one disc, this is the other disc. The distance between this should be 24 mm and the diameter of this will be 6 mm. I hope you'll remember this. Now up to 6 discs can be applied on a 100 mm plate. Incubation is done at 37 degrees Celsius, 16 to 18 hours, and then result is interpreted. Now what is the interpretation? The antibiotic in the disc, it diffuses through the solid medium so that the concentration is highest near the site of application of antibiotic disc and decreases gradually. We can see here, this is the diagram. You can see these the one I am marking are the antibiotic discs. Okay. and the area which we are seeing, this opaque area, the concentration of antibiotic is maximum in this region, one which is nearest to the disc, and the concentration goes on decreasing as we go further. Okay, now susceptibility to the drug is determined by the zone of inhibition of bacterial growth around the disc. You can see the area which seems opaque is actually the zone of inhibition. So the susceptibility of the drug, we determine this by seeing the zone of inhibition, and we actually measure this zone by using vernier caliper. The interpretation of zone size into sensitive, intermediate and resistant is based on the standard zone size interpretation chart, which is provided by CLSI or EUCAST guidelines. The Clinical and Laboratory Standard Institute and EUCAST, European Committee on Antimicrobial Susceptibility Testing, these are the international agencies which provide guideline for the zone size interpretation, and it is almost updated annually. So how will you know? Suppose let me explain this to you with an example. My bacteria, supposedly I am using taking the sample of pathogenic E. coli from urine specimen. I have inoculated this bacteria on this medium. Now we have also used this there are 5 antibiotic discs here, and one of this it is the antibiotic here is penicillin, and supposedly the other one is it can be anything, beta-lactamase, it can be aminoglycoside, the other one can be ampicillin, or like that. So we took this different antibiotics. Now we can see that here, take a ampicillin. So we can see that in this is the antibiotic disc, right? And here was the bacteria which was inoculated earlier. Now we can see that up to this zone there is no growth of bacteria. Okay, it means that this antibiotic is actually not allowing E. coli to grow in this area, right? This is known as the zone of inhibition. If the antibiotic is susceptible or sensitive to this, if the bacteria is sensitive to this antibiotic, it will not grow in this region, right? And now how do we know if the bacteria is actually sensitive or resistant to the antibiotic? So it is done based on the scale which is made by this institute. As I told you, the CLSI or EUCAST, they have made a measurement and interpretation chart. They have made this chart and they have given 3 zones. First is sensitive, intermediate and resistant. If this zone of inhibition, supposedly the zone of inhibition for ampicillin is 20 millimeter. Okay, now if this is the standard one, okay, we are taking this to be, if there is this much growth, if there is growth this much or there is less than this 20 millimeter growth of E. coli in ampicillin medium, then it will be considered to be resistant. And now this is the standard term, okay, we don't decide it, this is standard. Now you measure this, we took this ampicillin and we took E. coli bacteria from the this urine sample, and then you saw the zone of inhibition and you measured it to be supposedly 23 millimeter, or no, not 23 millimeter, let's take it to be 15 millimeter. This zone of inhibition you measured it to be 15 millimeter. Now you'll see the chart, and what will you interpret it? That this 15 millimeter is definitely less than 20 millimeter. It means that ampicillin is resistant to the E. coli is resistant to the ampicillin. Now, so we took that, we saw the resistant part. Now, supposedly you measured it again. We're just for the example purpose, I'm changing the diameter this time to be, I took 20 millimeter to be resistant, right? Less than 22 millimeters to be resistant. Now, for these sensitive, it should be more than, let's say, 25. If this diameter you found at 27 millimeter, it means the bacteria is sensitive to that ampicillin or the whatever antibiotic we are using. And if it is in between them, then it is said to be intermediate. I hope you got it. Let me explain it to you again in very simple language. So there are three standard terms: sensitive, intermediate, resistant. And this this millimeter or the diameter of this antibiotic base has been standardized. Okay, if it falls under this, the bacteria, you will say that the bacteria is resistant to the antibiotic. If it falls under this, it is intermediate, and if it falls under this, then it is sensitive. I hope it is clear. Now we can also say that if there is this zone of inhibition, if it's actually very less, as we can see here, the zone of inhibition is so less as compared to this one, so we can also interpret that the bacteria is resistant to the antibiotic, because in spite of antibiotic, in spite of so high concentration of antibiotic in this zone, the bacteria is still growing. See, still there is growth of bacteria. It means the bacteria is resistant to that antibiotic. The antibiotic can't stop or can't kill the bacteria, right? That's why it's growing, so we can interpret it to be resistant. Whereas if the zone of inhibition is actually big, it is said to be sensitive. Sorry. Now here the second method is direct disk diffusion test. It was actually the example of this one, right? I told you there is one direct and the other one is this, where we took from directly from the sample. Here the test can be performed when the results are required urgently and a single pathogenic bacterium is suspected. For positively flagged blood culture bottle, sterile blood, body fluid, like that. Now this whole this standardized interpretation chart is given here. You don't really have to memorize it, but just you can see it for some bacteria. Now the specimen in this direct one, it is directly inoculated uniformly to the surface of agar plate. An antibiotic disc they are applied. The result of direct DD, it should always be verified by performing AST from the colony susceptibility. The test is no use when mixed growth is suspected. It is only done when growth of one bacterium is suspected. Growth of one bacteria is suspected. If there is mixed growth, then this direct one, it is of no use. The second is the dilution test. I told you about the dilution of agar or broad dilution test, remember? So here the antimicrobial agent is serially diluted, and each dilution is tested with the test organism for antimicrobial susceptibility test, and the MIC or minimum inhibitory concentration is calculated. So what is saying is that each of the dilution is tested. Okay, supposedly here we have different test tubes, we can see, and each of the test tube antimicrobial agent is given and it is diluted serially. The dilution of this test is different from this one, like the dilution is different in each of the test tube. Not this. So now they are diluted differently, and then the organism is inoculated in this one, growth is seen, and the minimum inhibitory concentration is calculated from this one. See, supposedly we got the concentration here is 64, 32, 16. We see that the concentration is decreasing on. This is the concentration of antibiotic. You see that here in this test tube there is no growth, right? Even in this test tube there is no growth. In this test tube we can see growth, but little less. Whereas in this test tube you can see as well there is growth as well, here as well, but the concentration is increasing. The growth of bacteria is actually increasing, and here so it is turbidity. So this turbidity will, you can see it with the naked eye only that there is, or we can make out that there is growth of bacteria. So the minimum inhibitory concentration will calculate based on this, like by seeing the growth. Now the MIC, it is the lowest concentration of antimicrobial agent which will inhibit the visible growth of microorganism after overnight incubation. So it is the visible growth. Okay, we can see that turbidity is seen till here only, right? After this we cannot see the turbidity. So after this concentration, or after 8 milligram ml, we cannot see turbidity. So this 8 milligram per ml is the MIC, or minimum inhibitory concentration for this antibiotic. Now, depending on whether the dilution of antimicrobial agent are made in agar or broth, there are two type of dilution. One is broth dilution method, the other one is agar dilution method. So the two type, micro broth dilution is there, which is performed in test tube. Then there is micro broth dilution, which is performed in microtiter plate. We need not go in detail about this because you won't be really asked about it, but just I'm explaining it a bit. So the serial dilution of antibiotic agent in Mueller-Hinton broth, it is taken in tubes. Each tube is inoculated with fixed amount of suspension of test organism, and the control organism of known sensitivity should be tested. It is incubated for 18 hours at 37 degrees Celsius. MIC can be determined by noting the lowest concentration of drug at which there is no visible growth. That is, the growth appear clear. This visible growth we'll see by a naked eye only. Now this MBC, which is the minimum bactericidal concentration, it is obtained by subculturing from each test tube. So this though we can see by our eye only, okay, but MBC, this is the minimum bactericidal concentration. So ye will have to do a subculture of this organism from this tube. You will culture it, then you will see it under microscope, then you will interpret this MBC. So only a nutrient agar without any antimicrobial agent. The tube containing the lowest concentration of drug which fails to show growth on subculture is the MBC. So the tube which contains the lowest concentration of drug and it fails to show any growth on subculture, that is the MBC for that drug. Supposedly we took this subculture from this test tube, okay, and in solid media we are seeing there is no growth. So the MBC for this antibiotic will be 32. If you took 16 milligram wala and you subculture it, we can see growth here, right? So this cannot be the MBC. MBC has to be where there is no growth, completely no growth, like this test. Now the other one is agar dilution, where it is prepared in molten agar, poured into petri dish, and the test strain is spot is inoculated. The method is more convenient than broth dilution and has added advantage. The advantage are that the several strain can be tested at same time by using same plate and direct measure to the MBC, as there is no need of subculturing. You do not need to subculture because you are doing it already. It is like agar method. You do not have to subculture it again. You can directly colonize and see it under the microscope. And you can also test for several strain by using the same plate and at the same time. This absalometer, it is a quantitative method for detecting MIC. It is done by principle of both diffusion and dilution of antibiotic in the media. It uses an absorbent strip which contains predefined gradient of antibiotic concentration immobilized along its length. Then it is applied to a lawn culture in a Columobacteria following the incubation of the test organism. An elliptical zone of inhibition. Please remember this. There is an elliptical zone of inhibition, and the antibiotic concentration of the ellipse edge intersect the strip. It is taken as MIC. The antibiotic concentration जो कि elliptical edge को intersect करता है, it is MIC. Now this is the automated method. We don't really need to know about this. Here is a diagram of, see, the elliptical zone of inhibition is there. Then you use this scale and you measure the minimum inhibitory concentration. There is no need of remembering this also. So after this, these all are not that much of importance for us. The molecular method we won't be reading out detail about them in detail in here, as these are like the biochemistry topic, just PCR, RT-PCRs and all this. So yeah, that's it about it, and I'll see you in next video.